immediately this flush of emotions, this flood of emotions overtakes me. And I shut it off because I don't have time to feel that. I don't have time to feel that. Right now, my child just went down as a heat case. I'm looking around for a shaded area. People don't give a fuck what you say. A lot of people do not understand this. They care about what you do. All of a sudden, you second guess yourself. Obstacles in my path. I'm gonna hold your hand when I say. You don't think that you gonna make it? It seems like there's something standing in my way. Keep relying on tomorrow. It could change the entire trajectory of your life. You the baseline. The moment that they see you not display the things that you preach, it don't fucking matter. You feel me? What's going on, everybody? It's that ordinary podcaster with the extraordinary thoughts that tells you to stop being great and be extraordinary. I'm your host, Demetrius Thigpen, also known as Meech Speaks, and welcome back to another episode of the Meech Speaks podcast. Now, before we get started with this podcast, don't forget to head on over to your favorite stream platform, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts. Matter of fact, you can head on over to the site, okay? Because the site got the episodes, it's got the merch. Don't forget to leave an honest review because this podcast deserves to grow just as much as we do. The episode's so powerful, man. Like, bro, the episode's so powerful. This is actually my fourth time recording it. You feel me? Like, the episode's so powerful. The episode means so much to me that I cried in the first one. You feel me? I was like, look, man, one thing that ain't about to happen is y'all not about to see me crying on camera. You feel me? The second one, man, it just didn't sound right to me. Like I wasn't telling the story the right way. You feel me? But this episode's so powerful, man, that this is my fourth time recording it. This is my fourth time recording this episode. And I just really, man, like, when you hear this episode, please understand that this is about fatherhood. You know what I mean? Like, one thing that I will say is that I have always pride myself on the fact that I'm a father. You know, I'm a father that grew up without a father, navigating through the trenches of fatherhood, doing the best that I can. So when any chance I get to talk about fatherhood, it just means a lot to me, man, because fuck, man, I'm just happy. This episode's about leadership. This episode's about what happens when preparation meets opportunity. This episode's about showing the fuck up. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, boom. So it was a hot ass day in Arizona. And when I'm talking about like a hot ass day, I'm talking about 115 degrees outside. You feel me? Like, and I'm gonna just stop for a second because I don't think a lot of people really understand what 115 degrees feels like. Okay. I'm born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. I ain't never seen the temperatures get into the hundreds and be able to stay like that. Let alone have I ever seen 115, 116, 120 degree weather. I ain't never seen it until I came out here to Arizona. All right. So it's 115 degrees. It's so hot that when you go outside, right? Like when you go outside, I'm talking about the weather is beating down. The sun is beating down. Like if you've ever seen Super Mario, if you've ever played Super Mario, and there's a part where the sun's chasing you and the sun's angry, that's exactly how it looks. Swear to God. It's so hot that you have to be drinking water in order to be out there. It's so hot that it'll make you turn around and go back inside. It was one of them days. And not only was it one of those days, but it was also the air show on Luke Air Force Base. And my kids, they want to go. On the hottest day of the year, they want to go to the air show. Their mother wants to take them to the air show. Now, one thing that I've had to force myself, you feel me? Like I feel like I've had to force myself to do this lately, is showing up more for my family than my job, if that makes sense, especially out here on recruiting duty. You know, I've been out here. I give 100% to my job. I give 100% to the kids. I give 100% to families that think that I'm doing their kids a disservice or I'm just trying to screw their kid over. And then I come home and I give minimum energy to my family. You feel me? Ain't nothing worse than going to work Monday through Friday, give 100% time, effort, energy, and then you come home, look your kids in the eyes and say, I'm tired. Man, I just don't feel like it right now. I've had a long day. Mind you, the kids been waiting for you to get home all day just so they could see you, just so they could spend time with you, and you ain't got it, but you gave them 100%. And I've had to talk to myself about that. And I've always told myself that if I can give 100% at work, then I definitely can give 100% to my children. If I can give 100% of time and effort at my job, then I can 100% give time and effort to my family. To my job, I'm replaceable. But to my family, to my kids, I'm irreplaceable. So when they asked me, man, like, Dad, can we go to the air show? I said, hell yeah. I kept my internal thoughts to myself. I don't care if I'm tired. I don't care if I want to go home. I don't care. They want to do this moment with me now. So we push. We get the waters. We put them in the wagon. You know, we tell the kids, hey, wear some hats because the sun going to be beating down on you. Wear something comfortable because we're going to be walking. And we move to the air show. Now, for those who don't know, I stay on the base. So, like, the air show is literally like right down the street from me. And we push on down. And it's honestly a great experience. I'm not even about to lie to you. It was a great experience. And I say that, man, because I remember watching my son watch the reenactment of World War II. And he's asking me questions, man. Like, and it felt good to be able, it felt good, man. It felt good to be able to do that for my children. I took my youngest girl, you know, on one of the planes so she could see the inside of it. You know, my youngest son going crazy, seeing everything, you know, and once again, man, like, I will never take being a father for granted. I'll never take that. And we have been there, I want to say about like 2 to 3 hours at this point. And after 2 to 3 hours, man, like you can imagine, we've been walking. It's time to probably like grab something to eat, grab something to drink. But I noticed that my oldest, you feel me? Like, remember, because I have 4 kids. I noticed that my oldest, she hadn't been really interacting. You know, when we first got there, she was all about it. You feel me? But as the day, you know, continued, I noticed that her presence was more in the background, if that makes sense. And I looked over and I said, Dakota, what's wrong? She like, no, nothing. And I'm like, oh, she probably like overstimulated. She probably like ready to go. You feel me? But I start really paying attention to her because once again, my other kids all about this. They all up front. My oldest is in the back. And I got my eye on her. And I asked her again, I'm like, hey, Coda, everything good? And she's like, I'm just not feeling well. As I continue to keep talking to her, I realized, like, fuck, man, like, how much water have you been drinking? Because once again, it's 115 fucking degrees out. And we've been walking all over the flight line. We've been walking all over the flight line. And she said, I've been drinking. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I look at her again and I'm like, yeah, you're not looking good. So I grab her and I tell her like, hey, let's go grab something to drink. I tell him, give me a cup, man, with the biggest ice, all the water that you can fit in that motherfucker. And I hand it to my child. And I tell her, sip, don't chug this. I'm trying to get your temperature down because you look like you hot right now. And what's so crazy about that situation is, especially when you say sip, don't chug, I've said that to my son when we're training. Not only have I said that to my son when we're training, I've said that to students when I was at the Mace. Sip, don't chug. One thing that I've learned is that life has a way of testing you. Life has a way of testing you. And each day you have an opportunity to prepare for that test. Each day you have an opportunity to study for that test. You don't know when it's coming, but each day you have an opportunity. And in this moment right now, I'm being tested. And I hadn't realized that I've went over this material years ago. I didn't realize that I go over this material every time I'm with my son. And I told her, sip, don't chug. And as we were walking, she starts to cramp up. And that's when I knew my child is about to go down as a heat case. I'm like, fuck. When you see somebody go down as a heat case, and I just want to stop for a second. When you see somebody go down as a heat case from an instructor to student perspective, you don't really feel anything. You know what I mean? Like, you really don't feel anything. Obviously, it's an emergency. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, it's an emergency. But you really don't feel, there's no emotions really attached to it. It's essentially urgency that is really carrying you. You understand that you need to get this person to a shaded area. You need to get some water. You need to get some layers off of this person. You know what you need to do. When you see your child go down, you're immediately overwhelmed with this flood of emotions. And as a parent, you have to shut that off, if that makes sense. Like soon as she goes down, right? Like soon as she goes down, immediately this flush of emotions, this flood of emotions overtakes me. And I shut it off because I don't have time to feel that. I don't have time to feel that. Right now, my child just went down as a heat case. I'm looking around for a shaded area. And I really want to just take a moment and just say this real quick, because they say in moments of crisis, in moments of chaos, in moments of adversity, controversy, you fall back to your training. And that's exactly what I did. 3.5 years working at the Martial Arts and Center of Excellence, kicking that brief over and over, paying attention to students, watching them, going to doc. It all comes back to you. And that's exactly what happened. I look over at her. I say, Coda, can you walk? She says, I don't know if I can. I said, say no more. Mind you, we are at the back of the flight line. We are at the back of the flight line. And I don't know if anybody's ever really been on a flight line before, but I really want you to understand, under 115-degree weather, we're at the back of the flight line. The med station is up at the front. There's no carts around us. And I say to myself, I know exactly what we need to do to get you up there. I grab her. I say, Coda, I need you to stand. Put your arms around me. And I sling her over just like as if I was wearing a pack. I pick my child up and I start walking. I got an oversized t-shirt on, some shorts, and some Crocs. I put those motherfuckers in sport mode. I hand my stuff to their mother. I tell my son, hey, pay attention to your siblings. I got to get your sister up here. In this moment, this flood of emotions, right? Like this flood of emotion, it feels like it's rising. It's rising because I know I got my child on my back. I got my child on my back and I'm trying, man. Like I'm trying to get her to the med station. But all I can hear in my head is get her home. Get her to a shaded area. Get some water in her. Get her layers off. When they tell you that you rise to the occasion, you fall back to your training. You feel me? You don't really rise. You fall back to your training. And the thing that you have to understand is that if you don't fucking train, right? Like if you don't fucking train, you won't have anything to fall back on. And I remember just carrying my child, man, like carrying her and saying to myself, damn, man, like her legs are digging into my hips. Like they're digging into my hips. And what it reminded me of was a pack. It reminded me of like a main pack as I was on a hike. And I knew that if it's digging into my hips, that means that the pack is too low. And I remember grabbing her and pulling her arms so she can get higher up on me. Just like as if she was a pack. And I kept telling her, I'm going to get you home. Dakota, I'm going to get you home. And although I thought that I was just telling her and reassuring her, I was also reassuring myself. In those moments, man, like you have to fight with yourself from losing control to your emotions. You have to fight with yourself. You know what I mean? You don't have time. In moments of crisis, in moments of urgency, in moments of chaos, you don't have fucking time to think. You don't have time to fucking analyze. You have time to recognize and react. That's all. And you're fighting with yourself with these emotions because you're scared, you're worried, you want something to happen, but you're dealing with so much in one moment. And you have to tell yourself, let me rephrase that, you have to ground yourself. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but when you're faced with a situation like that, you have to ground yourself. Because if you don't, you're going to get tunnel vision. If you don't, you're going to go in the black. If you don't, you'll become a casualty. You become a hazard. You'll be a victim. So although I kept telling my child, man, like, I'm going to get you home, I was also telling myself that. I was giving myself an objective. I was giving myself a rally point. Get your child home. That's what you need to do right now. Focus on getting your child home. Do not focus on the fact that you're uncomfortable. Do not focus on the fact that it's 115 degrees. Do not focus on the fact that there's people around. Get your fucking child home. And that's exactly what I did. Stop and add different checkpoints like trash cans and signs, and really just treating this shit just like it's a hike. I can't not stress this enough. You really will fall back to your training and your experiences. Telling her, hey, sip this water, don't chug it. And in this moment, I can't help but not feel like this feeling of gratitude. I cannot help but feel this feeling of gratitude. You know what I mean? Because although she was uncomfortable, she wasn't heavy. And I will say that again because I don't think you really understand. Her legs were digging at my hips. It was uncomfortable, but she was never heavy. 3.5 years of putting my body through fucking hell. And even when I left, I continued to put my body through fucking hell. And it paid off in this moment right here. The days where I said, damn, it's hot, maybe I should stay inside today, I still went out there and fucking trained. It paid off right here. The days where I said, fuck, man, maybe I should cut this round off. Absolutely not. Do the round again. It paid off right here. I thought I was training for a fight. I thought I was just staying in shape. The whole time I was preparing to carry my daughter to that fucking ex. And I remember getting to that med station. And as we got there, I put her down. She runs to a trash can and she throws up in the trash can. And I'm like, fuck, man, we're really running out of time here. She's really cooking right now. We really need to get her. And luckily, there were some workers there and they said, hey, you know, you could put her in the car. We'll take her. And I'm like, hey, do you mind just taking us to the house? Because to be honest with you, although I want to go to the med station, I also know that it's 115 degrees. I also know the med station is probably crowded. I also know that my house is cooled. I have water. I could probably just get her there. And I asked them, hey, get us there. And we're pushing. And once again, man, like as we're driving, I got my daughter's hand. I got her hand. And we're driving. And I'm saying, I'm going to get you home. I'm going to get you home. Once again, I think I'm reassuring her, but I'm telling myself, man, I'm going to get her home to fight back tears. I'm telling her I'm going to get her home so that way I can keep my mind clear. And then I see in the mirror, she don't even have no fucking color. She's completely dehydrated. The lady sees it too. We see an EMT. We pull over to the EMT. And we get in the EMT. They start getting their vitals. And even as I'm regurgitating the information of what I had already known from my training, I keep hearing, get your daughter home. Get your daughter home. And I keep my mind clear. And they take us back to the med station. And as we get to the med station, I'm holding my daughter's hand. I got my other hand on her back. And I'm like, I'm going to get you home. Let's get your vitals. Let's get you cooled down. And as I'm cooling her down, man, like I saw something, let me rephrase that. I experienced something so amazing that I don't think that I've ever experienced something in my entire life like that. In this station, you see families, kids of different ages. Let me rephrase that, people of different ages, old, young, black, white, everybody's there. So it's a hot day. And as the EMT is getting their vitals, and gives us an ice pack, another gentleman walks over to us. And he hands me this big bag of ice, right? Hands me this bag of ice. And he looks at me and he says, for your daughter. I don't know him. And I see him walk back over to his child. See him walk back over to his child. And I take that bag and I put it on her back. As we're going, we're waiting for the cart to come because they're going to be able to take us back home because we stay on base. Once again, I'm only like 3 miles away, to be honest with you. I probably could have carried her. But that sun was beating. I don't think that we would have been able to do it. I'm fanning her. I'm telling her, I'm going to get you home. Don't worry, I'm going to get you home. I'm fanning her, right? Another man, he sees me. And he hands me a fan. And he says, for your daughter. I'm in an area with people, different ages, different creeds, different races, different branches of service, different religions. And in a world where we're constantly at odds with each other, In this moment, I'm experiencing what fatherhood is, the community, the brotherhood. Those men didn't know me, but they saw a father with their child in an emergency. And they did what any dad would have done. I bring all that up, man, because in moments of crisis, there's beauty. I've never experienced something like that. I'm a father that grew up without a father, navigating through the trenches of fatherhood, doing the best that I can. I didn't grow up with a prime example. So when I saw that, saw these gentlemen who didn't even know who the fuck I was, but they knew that I was a dad that was there for their child, it just, man, it almost brought me to tears. And even as I reflect it right now, it brings me to tears because it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever experienced. Our ride finally comes, right? And we push to the house. And once again, man, like all I can hear as I have my daughter's hand and I tell her, like, we're going to get you home. We're going to get you home. I hear how to treat a heat casualty. You need to get her to the house. You need to get her to a cool area. You need to get her layers off and you need to get water in her and you need to get water on her skin. I know she's hot right now. And that's exactly what I do. Soon as we get into the house, I lay a towel down. I look over because mind you, she's 13. And I tell her, hey, I know you got lady parts now. So I'm going to turn around. But what I need you to do is get down to pretty much the most minimum clothes that you can wear. Okay? All right, I'm not gonna watch. All right, hey, you need your privacy, and I need you to lay on this towel. I need you to put this other towel on you. Okay? She does that. I wet the first towel. I wet the towel that's on her. I take 2 ice packs and I put them right up under her arms, and I sit there. And in that moment, as I'm sitting there, man, I realize what my parental instinct is. See, what I've always known is that the mother's parental instinct is nurture. It's nurture. The father's parental instinct is to protect. And that's exactly what I was doing. I was protecting my child. I sat there just like an animal would, protecting their young. And I waited. I waited until her temperature came down. I waited until she could start talking to me again. I waited and I waited. I've told this story, man, I want to say almost 4 times at this point. I've recorded this episode almost 4 times, and no matter what, I always find a way to fucking cry. Growing up, I always wanted my dad to just be there. I didn't want money. I didn't want nice things. I just wanted my father to be there. And that shit used to eat at me. That was the one thing I could never have. So it brings nothing but joy to know that in moments like this, when my kids really fucking need me, I'm there. I'm there by their side. I'm grateful that on the days that I didn't quit, right? And I don't know who needs to hear this, man. I don't know who needs to fucking hear this. But on them days that you about to quit, say you'll do it another day. Say you too tired. Give yourself some other bullshit excuse. Understand, life gonna test you. And you have an opportunity to study for that test. You also have an opportunity not to. But regardless of the situation, life gonna test you. I'm grateful that I studied. I'm grateful for every day I put my body through hell. Because even though she was uncomfortable, she was never heavy. And even though the environment was austere, I was okay. I was comfortable. I was inoculated. Years of putting your body through hell will do that. And I'm grateful that I never missed a day. This is my 4th time recording this episode, and I still find a way to cry. Damn.